Hey guys, good evening. Welcome. It is 7 o'clock. It is Friday evening. That can only mean one thing. Time for our weekly 1 hour live stream. See, we've got Eric, we've got Mark, we've got Wolf, we've got Max. How are you guys doing? How has your week been? Eric, I got a pretty good idea how your week has been. Probably about the same as mine. It's been an interesting week, a historic week down here in South Louisiana. We had a little snow event, in case you guys hadn't heard. Joining us on the shelf this week, BB55 North Carolina. Had a lot of chat about the North Carolina in the chat today. Titanic is joining us. And Mighty Mo, USS Missouri, is joining us. Will says, doing well. Got a new game called Total War Empire. Interesting. Yes, Wolf, you are correct. You see my prize-winning USS North Carolina model right there. I won third place by default. So, like I was saying, guys, we had a rather historic week down here in South Louisiana in terms of our weather. But it wasn't just South Louisiana. Pretty much the entire Gulf Coast got blanketed with snowfall, record snowfall. We got hit with roughly a foot of snow, give or take an inch. Some people are saying it was 10 inches. Some people say it was 11. It kind of varies, Matt, what's up? Welcome. We're talking about the historic snow event that we had down here in South Louisiana and along the Gulf Coast this week. So, yeah, depending on who you ask, some places there was 10, some places there were 11, some places might have had an actual foot. It was for the first time since 1895. That's 130 years ago. We had a snow event like none other for this area. Let's see. What has Eric's got to say? Eric, I've lived in Louisiana off and on around 30 years, and that was the most snow I've ever seen. Eric, I'm born and raised here, lived here my entire life, and I have never seen snow like that before, ever. And I would imagine most people have not either. So, but again, it wasn't just confined to South Louisiana. This was all over the Gulf South. And why am I bringing up the snow event? Not only because it was, a historic event for us, but it kind of ties in a way to what we usually talk about every week, which of course is ships and maritime history. Let's see. You're welcome to use my drone video to show the snow. I've got something else in mind to show the snow, Matt. I've actually got some video of my own. I took my drone up as well and got some video. But I have something else in mind. So I said the entire Gulf Coast, guys. Now, what do we talk about here every week? We're talking about ships. We're talking about museum ships. We talk maritime history, all that good stuff. So there's an interesting way that the snow event ties into what we talk about every week. And what is Matt saying here? I think Matt figured out where I'm going to go with this. So without further ado, let's take a look at some photos here. And there we are. Check that out, guys. Look at USS Alabama right there in the middle of the snowstorm. There she is. Somebody was out there getting pictures of BB-60. How amazing is that? Right, Wolf? We'll say it's so odd seeing her covered in snow. Well, as far as I know, and I was reading some of the posts that some of the people were commenting on the USS Alabama's Facebook page. This is she's not she hasn't been in the snow in decades, but she's not a newcomer to the snow. Supposedly, and I don't know if this is true or not. I didn't have time to research it. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is the most amazing sight right there. I wish I'd give anything to see that in person. But anyway, before I got sidetracked, someone on their Facebook page was saying something about uh it's like something like she was it's like she would still be chasing the turpits. I don't know if, and I'm not saying it's not true. I'm saying I don't know if Alabama was actually involved at any point with hunting down the turpits. Um, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Matt says odd seeing anything that's covered in snow down here. Mark, beautiful picture. Max, that is so cool looking. Excuse me. Yes, very much. But I would love to be able to get somebody from the museum on here, like how we talked to Tim at the Kid and Shane at Buffalo. I would love to get somebody from the Alabama Museum on here, and they could talk us through Alabama's service history. Because when I read that, I I kind of freaked out. I'm like, really? Alabama was hunting down the turpits? I've never heard that before. Well, if I don't remember reading anything about Alabama hunting turpits during the war, but I think Iowa was involved in something like that. That wouldn't surprise me at all, honestly. Wolf says Alabama looks like she's in the Arctic for real. But yeah, even if that's not true, I would still want to know more about what she did in her service history. She wasn't, of course, active for very long, only for a few years at the most. Because she was decommissioned after the war. I'm fairly certain that Alabama did not serve in Korea, and all the South Dakotas were decommissioned. I think towards the end of the 50s. So watch the next picture is even cooler. Ah, look at that one. Ozzy says, "Where is the rum?" Steve is not here, Ozzy, so there is no rum tonight. You may just have to settle for good old fashioned whiskey. I would. This would have been the next day, I would think, because we had a nice sunny day here the day after the snow, and looks like they had the same out there in Mobile. Excuse me, guys, I'm yawning all of a sudden. So, and look at this one. Oh wow, is that a money shot or what? I said I don't know who got all these shots, but oh my goodness. Well, Alabama and her sisters were never in Korea. The only battleships in Korea were the Iowas at that point. The South Dakotas were all in reserve. Right. Okay. And like I said, I believe they were decommissioned at the end of the 50s, if memory serves. Now, with all this snow, you notice there's another ship out here on the Gulf Coast that would have been involved in this snow event. But as far as I know, we have no pictures of said ship. Eric, that is the best shot so far. Yeah, I love this shot, Eric. That is wallpaper right there. Welcome, excuse me. Welcome, Karen. How are you doing? Yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites right here. But wait, there's more. Let's see. So this would have been the day after. You can see the deck is covered in the snow. Wolf, imagine being on a destroyer and seeing that in the distance in the Atlantic. I'd much rather be on the ship than be on the destroyer that thing's looking at. And let's see, look at that one, guys. How about that? That is an incredible shot. That could be a wallpaper too. If I were at the museum, this is like a poster or something that you can sell in the gift shop. They need to get that printed and start selling that in the gift shop like ASAP. But I mentioned another ship that was involved in the snow that I've not yet seen any pictures of. Well, two actually. There's two other ships. Of course, USS Drum is here at Battleship Memorial Park, where the Alabama is, and I have not seen any photos of the Drum. So I don't know if they have any. Let's see. Is that the last one? Yeah, that was the last one. We're not ready for that just yet. Right there. I do not know if anyone got any shots of Kidd in the snow, because I can tell you the snow went well further south of Homa. Homa got blanketed, and I know the areas south of Homa got blanketed too. I know for sure that no one at the museum would have gotten pictures of Kidd covered in the snow, because every highway in this area was shut down. There was, like, if Tim wanted to come down and just get pictures of the ship in the snow in dry dock, no, it wasn't happening. There was no way for him to get here. All the roads were iced up and they were shut down. And so you folks up north might laugh at that, but you remember, in 130 years is the last time this area has seen a foot of snow. So it's just not something that happens down here. So you don't have the infrastructure to clear the roadways quickly. And, it was interesting. Will says, that's a shame. Would love to have seen a Gato class in the snow. For real. Ozzy says Florida got snow. Yes, I know for sure Pensacola got snow, because the National Naval Aviation Museum posted pictures of their building covered in snow. Exactly, Eric, right there. We are not equipped for that. No, and we never will be, because we just don't get it. I can still count. I think in my lifetime, we've probably had 5 or 6 times total that it snowed in my entire life. So when you get something like that, again, it's just not something that we were prepared for. But everything pretty much opened back up today. There's only a few roads here and there that are still not open. The highways are mostly open. Pretty much all the businesses are back open again. Ozzy says Philadelphia got snow, but no pictures of the SS United States. I'm sure there've got to be some out there, Ozzy. The ship has been there for 30 years. It snows in Philly every year. Somebody's got to have some. Yeah, because I'm from Michigan, they would still be going to school. Right, right. And there's been no school all week down here. Uh, Guys, I'm going to go grab a quick drink. My throat's drying up, so I just need to go run and grab something. When I get back, we're going to move on to our next topic. Okay, so yeah, the only the only way we would have gotten any pictures of Kid in the snow is if someone at the shipyard would have taken photos, and I'm going to assume nobody did because it seems like the museum would have gotten the photos and put them online by now. So anyway, guys, we're not done with Alabama yet, but we're going to move on to our next topic for a few minutes. So this should look familiar to some folks. I know you guys know that I have been to the Titanic Museum in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I don't know if I cannot ever remember actually discussing the experience with you guys and telling you what it was like. So I thought I would spend some time doing that today. So it was either 2 or 3 years ago. We went to the museum, and that was the entire. Eric says I used to live in Pigeon Forge. Eric, did you go to the museum when you lived there? So yeah, it was 2 or 3 years ago. I don't know if that's actually the scale of how big the ship actually was, and of course, it's a building. It's not, a full replica of a ship. You can't go like up on the decks or anything that you see. I'm pointing at the screen, and I know you guys can't see that. So, but anyway, you go in. It pretty much sells out all the time. Oh, the museum wasn't there when you lived there. Gotcha. So basically, what you do, here's like the main entrance right here, and you go in like there's like a line you wade through. It's like a snake line that you kind of zigzag through, and then you make your way right there. And let's see, some of the first things you see, and of course, all the outside is decorated. And this is one of the posters that they have out there. They've got posters lined up against the walls. Exactly, Wolf. Yes. Pretty impressive replica, even if it's half of the ship. And it's really, I don't even think it's half. It stops right after the well, I guess you could say half. It's got two of the funnels, so I'm thinking about the lifeboats. There's only one set of lifeboats and then it stops. But imagine if they made the whole ship. That would truly be something. But would they make it to scale? Because remember, even in James Cameron's movie, the ship was not to scale. I mean, it was close, but it wasn't one-to-one scale. So that's one of the posters you see. I kind of prefer the next one a little more. I think Mark is going to fall in love with this one. There we go. The largest and finest steamers in the world, Olympic and Titanic. And notice what ship is in the actual photo right there. It's not Titanic. That's why I say I know Mark is going to love this photo. That is Olympic in this actual photo. So let's move on. Okay, so James Cameron was 90%. I think so, or something like that, Mark. Like I said, it wasn't full one-to-one, but it was pretty close. There we go. Yeah, Olympic. You're referring back to the previous picture. So before you actually get to this part, you go through a whole bunch of exhibits. It takes, I don't know, probably like an hour or so to actually go through all the different exhibits that they have. Um, the one that really stood out to me was the Father Brown exhibit. Um, as we all know, Father Brown, Father Francis Brown, sailed on Titanic from Southampton to Queenstown, got off there, took a whole bunch of photos of the ship while he was on the ship, and he never made the voyage across the Atlantic on the ship. Therefore, his photos, and more importantly, himself, uh, survived. And thanks to that, is some of the only photos in existence of the ship. The vast majority of them are from him. And there's a big exhibit in there that is actually it's dedicated to Father Brown, and they've got like wall to wall replicas of his images in that area. Some of the other ones they've got, there's like giant cuts away of the ship, and they're interactive, and you can go and push a button. It highlights an area of the ship, and it'll tell you about that area. Ozzy, no, Ozzy, sorry, there's no potato room. Matt, I wonder how many cameras must still be in the ship packed in suitcases. That's a good question. It's hard to say because, I mean, photography was still kind of a novel thing at that time. But, I mean, who knows? Yep, Mark said he didn't take any pictures of the grand staircase. Very true. But as we've discussed many times before, one of the things that we know from Titanic's plans was that the grand staircase was virtually identical to Olympics. So looking at Olympics, grand staircase would be an acceptable substitute for Titanic's. But yeah, you go through all these different things. One of the first things that you see, and I don't know if it was something that was there temporary or permanent, is they actually had a life jacket, a real life jacket from the ship. And I think they said it was valued at like over $120,000 or something like that. That's the one true artifact from the ship that I can remember being at the museum. So anyway, after you go through all of that, you're not allowed to take any photos or videos in that section of the museum, which, of course, I honored. You know, it's their wishes. It's their museum, their rules. So I played by the rules. Mark says Astor's life jacket, Mrs. Astor's. I don't remember who it was for, Mark. Did you read that online somewhere? And they said that's what it is. Let's see, Wolf. Let's see. Always found the interior of the Titanic wreck so fascinating because of how it looks like another world almost. Essentially, yeah. And that's one thing we still haven't done yet is I got that Titanic VR game. At some point, maybe during Titanic Week, I might do a live stream where we explore the stern section. Even though I imagine you probably can't go inside of it because it's just it's a pancaked mess of metal and iron. But yeah, we never actually did that, so it might be something we do. And speaking of which, as of right now, guys, I was waiting till tonight to make this announcement. As of right now, I have 1,984 subscribers to the channel. So we are 16 subscribers away from 2,000. If we reach 2,000, which I think we will at some point, but I'll say when we reach 2,000, I was considering live streaming Titanic Adventure Out of Time. I think that would be pretty fun. Wolf says, well, congratulations. Thank you, Wolf. No, Ozzy, well done. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah, but we're 16 away. So I think that would be a fun thing because Those of you who remember that game, it actually came out before James Cameron's movie. It has nothing to do with James Cameron's movie. It's like a the let me try and remember how I can describe the game. It was like a British Secret Service agent has a failed mission on the Titanic, and he gets an opportunity to go back in time and see if he can correct his mistakes, and hence the name of the game, Titanic Adventure Out of Time. Eric, congratulations. Glad I found the channel. Thank you so much, Eric. Eric, just out of curiosity, did you find my channel through the kid? I know some people did. Are you one of those? So anyway, yeah, we're looking at the grand staircase here. Once you get to this part where they actually have some of the interior of the ship replicated, is when you can start snapping photos of the museum. You still can't do video, but but when you get to this part, when you exit the part that I was talking about where there's no photos or videos allowed, the first section you come to is the recreation of the grand staircase. You can go up and down. In fact, you have to go up the staircase. And from this point forward, they let you take pictures. Mark, I put a good movie on my channel, A Night to Remember. You can do that, Mark? I thought that movie was still, I mean, that movie's not public domain, is it? No, that movie was in 1958. Did you get hit with copyright, Mark? I'm just curious. Well, if I remember finding your channel because of your video on the Arizona model build. Yep, I've got several people for sure that have reached out to me and told me the model building is how they found the channel. Steve is another one. He found my Queen Mary build. Eric, it's cool that they allow some photography. It's usually all or nothing. Graceland, whew. They let you take photography as well, but no video. And when you're inside Elvis's house, you cannot use flash of any kind, which I understand because most museums, they don't want you using flash on their exhibits because of, I think it's the UV light or something. Mark, yes, copyright on it, but it does affect the channel if posted. Right, so you can't monetize that. So here we are. There's me right there. Let's see if we can zoom in to me. Standing right by. Look at that, guys. Standing right in front of Honor and Glory, Crowning Time. Now, this is one thing that's different. If you notice along the railings, you can see like the gold railing along the banisters. Obviously, Titanic did not have that, but I guess that's due to like modern safety standards and whatnot. So, yep, there's the grand staircase. And let's see, let's move on. There's a close-up of Honor and Glory. There they are, Crowning Time. And let's see. I know I've got more. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, now that's standing up. If you're facing away from the clock, you've got like that curved area on the opposite side on the top of the landing. That's where I'm standing, and you're looking down at the clock. Mark doesn't affect channel if posted. Is allowed. Okay. That's interesting. That surprises me. Because I wonder if because that movie was made overseas, because that movie was filmed in London. Maybe because it's not an American film. I'm not sure. That's really interesting. Wolf, that is a really nice clock. Yep. Yes, sir. And of course, you got to get the selfie. I'm right there. I'm standing on the freaking grand staircase. So there's looking down. And another shot right there. Mark, you need permission though. Who do you have to get permission from? So let's see. Here we go. Moving down. So you eventually go down what looks like a first class corridor, like on, I would imagine like something how it might have looked on a deck. And when you reach the end, there are like mirrors on both sides, and it makes it look like the hallway just keeps going and going and going, but it doesn't. It stops. Ozzy, what about Titanic movie 1954? I've never actually seen that movie. Really, the only Titanic films I've seen are the two big ones: Titanic, Cameron's movie, and A Night to Remember. Is everything I've read about all the Titanic movies is those are the only two worth watching. And based on clips that I've seen from the '53 movie, it's it's kind of meh. Well, so it seems like it's a pretty cool tour. I might have to check it out in the future. That's the cool thing, Wolf. You don't have to be a fan of Titanic to appreciate the museum experience and the history behind it. You really don't. Um, 'Cause I heard a lot of people were like around us, and I'm listening to the conversations that are going on, and I mean, even people here. Wow, there was this ship called Olympic, and it was Titanic's sister ship, and it was built before Titanic. I didn't know that. You could hear a lot of stuff, and people are genuinely becoming interested, and that's what a museum does. I mean, think about undoubtedly for those of you who have not been to a museum ship yet, when you go for the first time, you are definitely going to get enthralled and pulled in learning about that ship. I promise you. Oh, I got you, Mark. Once you did the upload, it checked for copyright. It didn't flag you, so you're good. I got you. Ozzy, is there copyrights on the '53 movie? I would imagine so, Ozzy. The thing is, as far as and I'm not a copyright attorney, guys, so don't hold me, verbatim on all this. But the way I understood it was everything before 1930, as far as movies, is in the public domain. Everything post 1930 is still under copyright protection. But again, do not hold me to that. I am not a copyright attorney. So do your research and see what you come up with. And I'd be interested in knowing that as well, along with a few other movies. But before we get to this point, and I didn't want to show the picture, but you go into a room, and it's it's an exhibit that that honors the band, and they've got giant photos of all the band members in this room, and there's a giant piano in the middle, and there was a museum employee that was in. He was the only one in this exhibit, and he played violin. Well, it turns out that this employee was also legally blind. I remember there being a sign on the piano saying, he is legally blind, and they did not want you to tip or anything, which I certainly would have. But anyway, he grabbed his violin and he played like the first verse of "Nearer My God to Thee." Guys, that was something. That was truly, truly an experience. That was very, very moving. It'd be the best way. It kind of choked me up a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. Mark says, I'll try with the '53 movie. I'll upload it and have it unlisted before it checks out. Yeah, that's a good way you can always check copyright on YouTube. Set your videos to unlisted after you upload them. And If you see there's copyright stuff, either if you can remove the copyright stuff out of the video, do so. And if they want you to take it down, just take it down, never publish it. So anyway, you walk into here, and I'm pretty sure that this is a recreation of the Strauss suite. And there's another picture. Well, nope, that's the only one of the Strauss suite. I did take more than that, but there's a lot of people in some of those. So I'm trying to avoid showing a whole lot of people. So this should be pretty obvious what this is. This is the replica of the bridge that you eventually come to. And you can turn that steering wheel. Somebody's going to probably have a fit because I call it a steering wheel, but I forget what its proper name is. I apologize. Yep, so there's the equipment on the back wall. Wolf, that's awesome. Yeah, about my the nearer I got to these story, Wolf, that was so incredible. Helm, thank you, Eric. Helm. Let's see. And here's a close-up shot of the helm. Here we go. Hard to starboard. Brown's patent telemotor. And yes, like I said, you could turn it. I mean, obviously, you know, the bridge isn't going to move or anything like that, but you could turn the wheel. Hard to starboard and then hard to port. Because remember, he port rounded the ship around the berg, so the stern wouldn't hit the berg as well. Watertight door indicator panel, which I need to do more research on that because I read somewhere, and I don't remember if it was on a Sea of Glass or not, but they didn't actually have an indicator panel. I need to do more research on that. This was interesting right here. So when you exit the bridge, you've kind of got like a replica of, well, no, this wouldn't really be an exact replica because you couldn't walk in front of the bridge on that deck. But you have this part, it goes around like the outside of the bridge, it wraps around it, even though that wouldn't be accurate to the ship. But you see this right here. Touch the 28-degree water. So right over this railing, you stick your hand down and the water is 28 degrees. And you see you got the tissue right here you can dry your hands off with after the fact. Well, of course we did that. You know, I stuck my hand in the water and I kept my hand there for a good while. It wasn't as cold as I thought it was going to be honest with you. But keep in mind that I only stuck my hand in. Now, imagine your whole body being in it and your core here. Nah, that wouldn't work. So yeah, just sticking your hand in ain't no big deal. But yeah, that's a totally different ball game. And of course, that's not like it's I don't know, like a projector or something of an iceberg. Eric, no thanks, right? And this is at the very end of the museum. I skipped the good bit stuff here. But what we're looking at right here, and if I remember correctly, this is like one of the very last rooms where it's got the list of all the passengers' names and stuff. And of course, you can see Molly Brown and Arthur Rostrom right there in that middle picture. But I want to say that was like the largest model or something that was built by an autistic kid. I forget the story. When you can't go up and touch it. There's like a railing that you stop at, and they have plaques there, and it tells you about that model right there. And I want to say that was something about the story of the model itself. And I also forgot to say, when you actually go in, when you go to the beginning of the museum, you get a card. And it's got a passenger's name and what class they're in and a little backstory about the passenger. And when you get to the very end of the museum, you find out if the person you had survived or not. Um, if I don't remember my passenger's name, but I do remember um, my passenger survived. I forget, it was a male passenger, but I forget his name. So let's see. I, that's probably the last one there. So let me go back big here for a minute. Max, concerning the model, Max says it was made in Sweden or something like that. You might be right, Max. I really don't remember. I'm not going to lie to you. Like I said, it was probably like 2 or 3 years ago when we went. So let's go ahead and we're gonna shift gears a little bit here. So I told you guys we weren't quite done looking at Alabama. So, but yeah, I wanted to share the experience of going to the museum with you guys because, like I said, I don't remember if I ever told you guys about the actual experience of going to the museum. I know I've talked about it and shared the pictures on Discord and stuff, but I wanted to share that with you guys. All right, here we go. That looks kind of off center, doesn't it? Let's see how it ends up looking. Oh yeah, look at that. Well, let's see. Huh. Well, that's interesting. I don't know why it's doing it that way. Mark, wow. Oh yes. So that looks fine. Let's see. I don't know why it's not going full screen. It should. What's that? Okay, well that'll do. Well, she looks incredible in the game. She most certainly does. So, nah, I'd rather the New York background. You can look at this and tell that it's New York. So, you guys are probably wondering, this is really just aggravating me. Let me stop this for a second and see if I can get it to pull up correctly. Let's try that again. Sorry, I'm experiencing technical difficulties here, guys. Bear with me. Okay, I think I got it. Let's see. Nope. Well, that's going to have to do. Still, that's better. That's better than before. Steve is in my computer. Okay, yeah, that looks a whole lot better. Let's see if we can go to my favorite one that I like. There we go. That's what I was trying to get accomplished. So you guys are probably wondering, Eric, what is this from? This is World of Warships, Eric. You can see there she is, BB-60, USS Alabama, right there. Now we can see her real nice and big. So you guys are probably wondering, how did this happen? Because you guys have heard me complain and complain and complain about the price of both this ship and Kid as far as real money. And I always said, I wasn't going to get them because of the prices. Well, here's how I ended up getting BB-60 here. So um, I got like $40 in Steam money for Christmas. So what I ended up doing was I saved all that credit, and next thing I know, Warships is offering a 30% off coupon for any ship, like any ship, like premium ship that costs real money. So I was like, you know what? BB60 is finally within my budget. So we're going to make it happen. Wolf would be cool if she had that blue paint along her hull currently. It looks like she has Kid's paint scheme, to be honest. And I don't have Kid up here, but looking at that paint scheme, it makes me think of Kid right away. Juan Carlos Solano. Welcome, Juan. Wow, it's powerful. It's awesome. Yes, the Alabama is most certainly both powerful and awesome. Mark, I still like the Black Swan. Wolf, I was wondering how you got her. Yep, and it is definitely Kid's paint scheme. It sure looks like it, doesn't it? But there she is, BB60, finally in the in here. But yeah, going back to Mark was talking about, Mark, how you put a night to remember on your channel. I wonder. I've actually had the Sullivans have been on the brain a lot lately. DD 537, and I recently watched The Fighting Sullivans, the movie, and that movie was filmed in somewhere, I want to say around 44. It's either 43 or 44. Can someone look up the Fighting Sullivans movie and tell me what year that was filmed? Wolf looks badass. Oh, yes, she does. Max, I've been trying to get USS North Carolina on there. I've got her, Max, and she is one of my favorite ships to play. So it takes some time to get her because she's a tier 8 ship in that game, but it is possible. I've had North Carolina for a long time, actually. But yeah, if you can upload like really old movies to your channel and you don't get a copyright flag, Matt, thank you very much. The Fighting Sullivans, February 3rd, 1944. I recently watched that movie, guys, and it was better than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to, admittedly, I thought it was going to probably be a bit hokey, but no, I really enjoyed it. Let's see. Mark, I have 458 views on A Night to Remember. Wow, okay. Juan, let's see. It would be awesome if USS Alabama equipped with missiles in the game. Juan, as far as I know, and I could be wrong, but I've never played any ships that have missiles equipped on them. I think they typically do not go with the real ships and the fake ships they make for the game. I don't think they go any further than World War II, which would not have had missiles on the ships. But yeah, I would be curious to know if I could put the Fighting Sullivans on my channel and not get flagged for copyright. There's another movie I watched also recently. If you guys remember, a few weeks ago, when Tim Nesmith from the Kid Museum was on, he gave us a really nice presentation of the different forms of media that USS Kid. Oh, wow. Wrecked that ship. Second ship sunk. But anyway, Tim gave us a nice presentation on all the different media that USS Kid was in. And the first one he mentioned was an old submarine movie starring Clark Gable called Run Silent, Run Deep. And there's just like a couple of shots of Kid in the movie. And this, of course, was when Kit was still in service. And well, no, she might have been out of service at that point because that movie was filmed in the late 50s. I got to go back and check and see if she was still in service or if she was in the reserve fleet at that point. But I went and watched that one, and actually I enjoyed that movie as well. So two really old movies that were both better than what I thought they were going to be. Let's see, Wolf. I found an RTS World War II ship game the other day called War on the Sea. Takes place in the Pacific and looks quite enjoyable. Well, cool deal. If you decide to check it out, Wolf, let us know. Share some stuff on Discord and the general gaming channel. Let's see. Upload it to unlisted. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could try that. Max, you don't mess with Alabama. Yeah, that's getting highlighted. You do not mess with the mighty A. See, we got 3 ships sunk. I was talking to you guys, not paying attention to the footage, but it sunk 3 ships. Wolf, I didn't know Kid was in any movies besides Greyhound. Well, now we know. Movies, TV shows, and of course, World of Warships, the game. Goodness, there was a CSI episode. Kid was in Battleship. Let's see. All right. Wikipedia says Kid was decommissioned in 1965, and then, I think they're off by a year. She was decommissioned in 64, if I remember correctly. And stricken in 74, so she was most likely in service when that film was made. More than likely. And I thought she was. I was almost positive of that. That's interesting. Okay, you meant 64. Yeah, I knew for sure she was decommissioned in 64. She got to Baton Rouge in 82 is when she became a museum ship. And the last dry docking that Kid had prior to this current one was 1962. Mark, I got a great idea for a next video. Are you meaning like for the stream, Mark, or for a video for your channel? Can you elaborate a little bit? Yeah, I wish Alabama was still was painted in something else besides the haze gray that she's in. But guys, like you guys know, I was at the ship just over a month ago. I was there for Pearl Harbor Day. Guys, she looks immaculate. She looks really, really good. That they have done an incredible job keeping up the ship, taking care of it, maintenance, all that. She looks phenomenal. She really, really does. Which is one of the reasons why I can't wait to see Kid when she comes out of dry dock to see how good she's going to look too. Quick drink, guys. Wolf, it's great news to hear that. Oh, absolutely. Eric, how long has BB-60 been a museum? I want to say 62 was when she opened as a museum. Let's see. I'm almost positive. Let's see if I got that right. Let's see. Battleship Memorial Park. Let's see. Trying to find it. Let's see. And blah, 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 blah. Yep. June 1st, 1962, Alabama was stricken from the register for disposal. On June 16th of 64, was when the Navy awarded the ship to the state of Alabama. And let's see. So I was close. I thought it was 62 when she became a museum, but no, she was stricken in 62. Yeah. So in 64, she got to Mobile. Let's see. Wolf, also earlier, one of the pictures you showed of Alabama, I noticed the right aircraft catapult was missing. Didn't know she only had one on her stern nowadays. Eric, wow, that's still 2 years before I was born. Yeah, Alabama's been a museum ship longer than any of us have been alive. But again, guys, she looks incredible, and really, you can spend the entire day at the museum because that's not the only thing that there is to do at the museum. Um, the drum is there. They have all over the grounds. There's different like tanks and aircraft. Battleship Memorial Park is actually pretty large. It's not just the Alabama, and that's it. It's actually a very large park. And like I said, you also have the aircraft pavilion, which has a whole bunch of different airplanes and jeeps and stuff in there. There's like a World War I exhibit in there. Um, there's even like a little newspaper clipping or something about the Lusitania in there. I remember seeing. So she's there's a whole lot to do. You can spend the entire day there and not run out of things to do. I know because I've done it more than once. Wolf, Alabama might be an old girl, but she is still looking her best even at her age. Well, and that's kudos to the people that run the park and the museum because they've really done a phenomenal job with keeping her up. And not just Alabama. Drum looks great as well. It's not just they pour all the money into BB-60 and that's it. But yeah, inside the aircraft pavilion, like I say, you've got those different exhibits. There's models in there. If you've got kiddos, they've got like a couple of little VR things, for the kiddos. So it's an all immersive thing. They even have a place where you can, if you've got pets, you can. They have like a kennel or something that you could put your pets in. If that's something you need to do. So, if you've not been, you really should check it out at some point. I don't think that that you would regret making the trip to BB-60. So, guys, we are approaching the end here. So I'll go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. Wolf says, sounds like an amazing museum. It absolutely is, Wolf. It's definitely worth a visit. Eric, there you go. I'm making it my mission to get over there for a visit this year. It's only a 3-hour drive, right? You can drive there and back in the same day, Eric. I did it Pearl Harbor Day this last year. I left the house early in the morning, got there. They open around 9 o'clock, I think, 9 or 9:30. I got there right around opening time, spent the whole day there, drove back. To me, my average, like my rule with traveling like that is if I can get somewhere, home and back within in the same day, it's usually like 3 hours. If it's 4 hours or more, that's when it's a hotel stay. But 3 hours, I'm driving there and I'm driving back because in my view, that's just watching James Cameron's Titanic movie is longer than driving to Mobile or driving from Mobile back, So that's how I kind of look at it. But guys, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up because we're approaching the 1 hour mark. Content schedule, as you guys know, is always as follows. All times, U.S. Central Time. Our weekly 1 hour live stream, Fridays at 7 p.m. our weekly videos Fridays at 7 a.m. and our weekly or daily, excuse me, video shorts Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Central Time. And that is going to do it for this week, guys. I thank you all so much for watching and coming hanging out with me. Hope you guys have a great weekend. And as always, you guys know the drill. Until the next time, missed that torque. Ah, okay, missed it. Until the next time, guys, drive safely.